What is cancer screening? Cancer screening means testing people for cancer who aren't showing any symptoms of cancer. This is potentially very important because with many cancers there are no symptoms until the cancer reaches a late stage, meaning it's spread from where it was and is causing problems for your body. Okay, so cancer screening is usually done by age. So typically there'll be a health policy in a country that says everyone over the age of a certain threshold is offered screening for various cancers. Some cancers are very difficult to screen for. Some are maybe more straightforward. Cancer screening can be done by a physical check in some cases. Can be done by a scan. It can be done by a blood test or urine test or stool sample. It may also be part of a health check. So in Japan, for example, there are yearly health checks offered by the local government, and many companies also do their own health checks as well. Those health checks could include screening for specific cancers, but also a health check may reveal a possibility of cancer even if it's not being looked for specifically. So an obvious example of that would be if you have a chest x-ray as part of a health check, the radiographer who looks at the image may see some suspicious nodules and refer you for further testing. You can also have a PET scan, this positron emission tomography scan, it's a nuclear scan, as part of a health check. PET scans tend to be very expensive, so that would usually be part of a health check that is not like a public one run by the government, but maybe a private one from your company that you work for, or maybe as part of your medical care package. So one thing that cancer screening can look at is cancer markers. So these are things that correlate with cancer. Unfortunately, elevated levels of various cancer markers may just be caused by something else, completely unrelated to cancer. So cancer screening tends to be part of a process in that you won't be told, generally you wouldn't be told straight away, your blood test shows you have cancer. It'd be more like you might have a letter or a phone call or a consultation and be told you should do further testing. Recently, a couple of or several new screening technologies have come about. So one is using microchips to look for cancer in blood samples. And these sometimes work on looking at microRNA, and these tend to be quite sensitive, so they're good at picking up cancer. So that means they have a low false negative rate, so they don't miss cancer as much as other blood tests, for example. There's also a measure of specificity, which means is there like a false positive rate? Now, false positive rate is a big issue for a couple of reasons. So one is it's obviously very stressful if you're told by as part of a screening program, you're told you may have cancer and you need more tests, to then be, find out that it's a false positive. But also, because cancer screening is just part of a multi-step process, there's a lot of costs involved in someone going for further testing that wasn't needed. However, when you talk about these new tests like the microRNA test, people sometimes talk about specificity in another way, meaning like what does it identify the specific cancer? So I think this is not the correct way to talk about specificity for cancer screening, but it kind of makes sense from a patient's point of view. So some tests like these circulating tumor cell tests, where you do a blood test and it finds cancer cells floating around in your blood, they may give you a strong indication that there's cancer, but it might not give you a lot of specific information about what the cancer is. Another new screening test that's become available recently is the nNOS test, which uses a worm, a genetically cloned worm that is very like a type of nematode worm that's very good at detecting cancer. So yeah, there's like a whole range of these new tests, and many of them should be very, very cheap when done at scale compared to traditional cancer screening. So hopefully in the future, cancer screening will become a really routine thing, even at kind of young ages, and it would just be a really simple thing, like you might go to the doctor or dentist for something else, and they'll take a little sample just as a matter of routine and test for a whole bunch of common cancers, and if anything shows up, you'll be referred for further testing. So that could be a way to find many cancers earlier, which is really important, because when cancers are found at later stages, the treatment outcomes tend to be poorer, meaning there's less chance that you'll get cured, or less chance that you'll go on to live a long and happy life. So I hope this video has given you a reasonable overview of cancer screening. Please post a comment or question, because that helps me make more videos. Thanks for your time.